Mick and Sam, taking you to Jungle Land. Bengals pride, it fills the air. Every week we're always there. Touchdowns, tackles, all the plays. Bengals roaring every way. Stories, news, and game recaps. Jungle Juice, we bridge those gaps. Welcome to the Jungle Juice. Mick and Sam, let's break it loose. Cincinnati, hear our call. Bengals fans, unite us all.
And welcome into this week's edition of the Jungle Juice podcast. I'm Sam, he's Mick. Mick, how's it going?
Hope has been restored, Gormley.
I just, it is absolutely wild. Good day, Lisa. Thanks for watching. It is wild that, I was having the conversation with you last night. And Lisa, I'm curious in your opinion. When we were talking to you and Mark, me, you, Mick, standing outside there before the Jaguars game, what if I would have told you, say, hey, guess what? In less than a month, Joe Flacco, the guy you just watched play against the Bengals, he's going to be the Bengals starting quarterback. It's just unbelievable. We'll come back to that and talk about it a little bit later on, but what a weird time we're in, Mick. It is a weird time.
Yeah, that's the NFL season for you here. But yeah, Joe Flacco is now the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's presumably going to start against the Packers this weekend. I'm for one pretty excited about it. How about you?
Yeah, let's come back and talk to that here in a few minutes and talk more about the Flacco thing, set it up, and so on. But appreciate you taking the time to tune into today's show. Remember to follow us on our social media channels. We're Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're also on your favorite podcasting platform. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating there. That's the best way for people to find our show, and it absolutely costs you nothing. So great way for you to do it. So we really appreciate you doing that if you can for us. But Mick, before we get into the news, I want to make your day. Can I do that?
Sure. I love it when people do that.
Because I know you've been struggling to sleep, I think probably to admit, over the last couple of weeks, probably because this thing has been on your mind. And I want to know that I can now finish it up for you. Or do you want to know that you'll be able to sleep again?
Sure.
Because guess what finally came into the mail yesterday?
Our season ticket gift?
I got your sticker,
shit.
Mick. It only came 3 weeks later than everyone else's, but I have your sticker. I know you have been losing sleep over it. Honestly, I'm surprised you've even been able to get up to do the podcasts, but guess what? Your sticker has officially come in the mail.
Yeah, I'm very happy that our sticker came in. I'm a little disheartened that the Bengals can't just express ship their
Yeah, I love that everyone, a lot of other people. So Lisa hasn't gotten hers either. That's interesting. A lot of other people got it 3 weeks ago. And I remember every day I went out really excited, went to my mailbox. I'm like, oh, is it there? No, it's not there.
You could have factored
really
the postage for express shipping into our season ticket prices.
No, they could have just paid for it themselves. It's a damn sticker, Mick. It doesn't cost them any money. They could have taken that.
Did we not get other things? Don't we get a coupon book or something?
So I also got in here. They sent this little.
Yeah, okay. That's what my buddy Patrick had at work.
There's nothing that is of any.
It kind of looks like one of them.
Yeah, it just says in here it's got a picture of the people. There's no coupons in here.
Yeah, but what was the coupon book that always came to us once a month when we were living, in our Union, Kentucky homes?
And we got
reach something maybe.
What annoys me though is they gave us a commemorative ticket.
Oh yeah,
they gave us one. Can you not
Well, buddy, you got the Kenny Anderson jersey, so I want the ticket.
No, you got the blanket last time.
I don't even use it. I don't even use it.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It was. But still,
do you want to use the blanket together?
We might have to. You're the one that usually needs to do it. But still, I just find these hilarious because here I want to ask you this, and then we're going to get onto the show. Do you know where your streak for 1-2? I don't know how we're now on. We're 7 years. I don't really know, but hey, you know what? Do you know where your streak 6 sticker is?
It's on my fridge, I think.
Is it really? Okay, I didn't know whether you knew
fridge.
it. Okay. So and also, I guess I'm gonna have to cut this or something down the middle because it didn't come like perforated. So I don't really know how it's gonna go. All right, now on to the topics of today's show because Mick, for one, here in a few minutes we'll talk about the Bengals-Lions game and we'll talk about Bengals-Packers as well. But like we started off the show, as Bob writes in here to the comments right now, I hope this is Joe Flacco and Slacko and not Slacko. I just like.
Has Joe Flacco ever been Joe Slacko though?
I don't know. I kind of like that. It is just
it's
unbelievable that a month, if hell, like right before that Jaguars game, if I would have told you, Mick, hey, you know that game against Green Bay, our good buddy Luke, we were talking with Luke before that game about Green Bay. He's going. And I'd love to know Luke's reaction if I've been like, hey, Luke, guess who's going to be starting at quarterback for the Bengals that day? Joe Flacco. What was your first reaction when this even happened?
I mean, I did think the Bengals needed to make a move. So two takeaways from this. One, I think the Bengals have to be fairly optimistic that Joe Burrow is going to come back eventually. If not, in the end of the regular season, if we can make it into the playoffs, he's going to be ready right around then. So that's one thing. I mean, we all know that Joe Burrow is working his tail off to get back onto the football field at some point this season. It's not out of the question, as to whether he could maybe get back on the field here. And the AFC has been completely flipped upside down this year. It's not just the Bengals that's dealing with the injury issues or just losing. You have the Chiefs are now 2-3. The Ravens are 1-4 right now, I believe.
Yep.
The AFC North. The
Bills just lost at home to the Patriots.
Yep. Bills lost at home to the Patriots. The Jaguars are like the best team in the AFC potentially.
I'm pretty sure if the season ended today, you know who would be the number 1 overall seed? I think I saw this. It would be the Indianapolis Colts.
It'd be the Colts. The Colts. I thought the Colts were going to have a top 5 draft pick this year.
With Daniel Jones at quarterback.
So the AFC is wide open right now. Like, it's completely wide open. I've seen the meme be posted a few times, and this is starting to remind people of the 2017 season where they show the graphic of the 4 AFC and NFC championship quarterbacks with Tom Brady and then the other companies, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles, and who's the other guy? Nick Foles. Oh, yeah, the Super Bowl winning quarterback out of those 4, Nick Foles. It's starting to kind of look like that type of season right now, especially in the AFC and especially in the AFC North. I mean, we all thought that the Browns and the Steelers would be towards the bottom of would be the bottom 2 teams of the AFC North. Right now, those guys are in the driving seat right now, but it's not out of the question though that the Bengals could get back into it. And I think Joe Flacco does give them an opportunity to do so.
The one thing that at least makes me feel semi-optimistic about the Joe Flacco thing. And then I do want to here in a few minutes talk about, kind of tie this into the Lions game and talk about why this is something that's even needed because of Jake Browning over these last couple of weeks. But Flacco here, this will be the best set of weapons he's probably ever had in his career.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably not even close. I mean, who is the best receiver Joe Flacco's ever thrown to? I was sitting here thinking about that earlier.
Maybe Torrey Smith? Like maybe Anquan Bolden? Bolden and Torrey Smith were a decent
because I guess, did he
combo?
ever get Mark Andrews?
Yeah, he would have had Mark Andrews at least 1 year.
So Mark Andrews, maybe? So, like, you're thinking about this. Like, he's never had anybody that is worth anything. Harold Fannin?
Yeah. So
that is at least a reason. If you're wanting to be optimistic, you've seen the shell of Joe Flacco. That's not even a great way to describe it. He's just an old man, but he can still throw. The Browns dropped a ton of passes. I mean, if the Browns had competent receivers, the Bengals would have one win right now.
Yeah. I mean, Joe
he's
Flacco
gonna
has
get
the same amount of
confidence.
interceptions. Yeah. So Joe Flacco has the same amount of interceptions that Jake Browning has with half of the turnover worthy play rate. That's how bad the Browns receiving core has been so far this year. It's been he's had a very unlucky start to the season here. Like you and Lisa just said, he's never had a wide receiver room like this. He hasn't had a T. Higgins and a Jamar Chase to throw to. I guess he had Amari Cooper for a little bit a couple years ago, and Amari Cooper just, went off in the last month of the season, but not a 1-2 punch like this. And then you add Mike Gesicki, you add Chase Brown, if they can eventually get him going a little bit more. You add Noah Fant to this wide receiver core for Joe Flacco, and all of a sudden you get really optimistic about how well he could potentially run this offense. And, he's going to throw picks. He's thrown, a decent amount of interceptions in his career. Obviously, he's thrown 6 so far this season. But he has the arm strength to take the ball down the field, which is something Zach Taylor likes to do. That's the way the offense is supposed to be run. And I think he can actually make the reads for the dink and dunk passes that Jake Browning was obviously missing, especially during this past Lions game that eventually got him benched.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's talk about Jake Browning here. He graded a 38 PFF quarterback rating. Or grading. That was the lowest for a Bengals quarterback in a game mix since when? I'll put you on the spot here to see if you can think about
it. Oh, no, I actually have it in my podcast notes. It is
do you?
Is week 17 against the Ravens. Brandon Allen.
You are correct.
Had the worst grade.
So here's
stat line. Can I get the stat line here?
Go for it.
Brandon Allen completed 6 of 21 passes for 48 yards and 2 interceptions.
And the Bengals lost, 38-3 that night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the ankle-breaking Lamar Jackson play against
Nick Vigil. No, that was in 2019.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, because I was at that game. I remember that because I was just sad. That was back in 2019 against Nick Vigil. Yeah. Where Kevin Harlan, I think, drops the line of, he put him in a blender or something, right?
Yes, yeah. The Kevin Harlan call.
Which, speaking of that, we might mention Kevin Harlan a little bit later on in the show. Teaser for you.
Spoilers.
Here's another stat for you. So again, according to PFF quarterback grading, Jake Browning was a 38. In his career, Joe Burrow below 50. How many times has it happened? A PFF grade?
3 or 4 times.
Twice. He has never been lower than 40, though. Do you want to take a stab at those 2 games?
Oh shit! Hell yeah, you're putting me on the spot.
I am. But just for fun. Do you know?
Can I go Steelers? That Steelers game in his rookie year?
No, one is in his rookie year, and one was a couple of years ago. Now, the one a couple of years ago,
Steelers rookie year game.
No, there was a rookie year game though against a divisional opponent at Baltimore. At Baltimore that year, and then the calf game against the Browns.
Oh, okay. Well, that does,
and that makes sense. Yeah. So, but again, that's showing you that Joe Burrow has been sub 50 twice in his career. Like, if you want to know the difference between Jake Browning and Joe Burrow, obviously, then just, you have an even, I think, half a one working eye, you'd be able to tell the difference between those two, but the stats completely back it up. And I think all of those stats are why the Bengals just had to make a move.
Yeah, and it's not just, they're, 2 sides of the same coin here. It's not just the grading, but the turnovers were obviously an area of concern for Jake Browning being the quarterback of this team going forward. Jake Browning right now has a 6% turnover-worthy play rate. Out of qualifying quarterbacks, that is the second highest mark in the NFL right now, trailing only my guy, J.J. McCarthy. Don't want to hear it, Gormley.
Wait, sorry. MVP, right? Oh, sorry. Were you hearing that?
And I didn't say, did I say JJ would be an MVP?
I thought, didn't you put money on him? Didn't you put money on him and Caleb Williams?
No, I almost put it on JJ after the comeback against the Bears. I did put it on Caleb Williams, which I still think, given the year that's happened so far, might end up playing out. We don't know yet. But anyways, so yeah, he is the second highest turnover-worthy play quarterback in the NFL. If you go across qualifying quarterbacks from last season, he would have been by far, in a way, number one with that 6%, with Jameis Winston, the highest turnover-worthy play guy last year when he played for the Browns at the 5.2%. So I think turnovers was really the cardinal sin for Jake Browning, the reason why he's not starting for this team going forward. And Joe Flacco is, his big time throw rate, isn't as high as a Joe Burrow. It's about the same rate as a Jake Browning. That's also with not as great wide receiver talent the last couple of years.
Not even close.
No. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you could say the Colts wide receiver room was decent last year. It's okay.
Would any of the Browns receivers start for the Bengals?
Judy would start for the Bengals.
Judy would probably start over Yoshi.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, but I mean, I guess, probably you could say Njoku would maybe start over Gesicki.
Yes, he would start over Noah Fant, I guess. If we're talking about who's the inline tight end between those two. Yeah, and I think Gesicki would start over Harold Fannin at this point. But yeah, so that big time throw rate could definitely be improved with this wide receiver group. The turnover worthy play rate much better, 3.8% last year with the Colts, 4% the year before with the Browns.
I will say I didn't love your Freudian slip there.
What?
The big toe play rate, that hurts.
Oh, big toe.
That hurts.
Yeah, well.
That hurts. Irony, I know. What a Freudian slip to have there, though. It's a trigger word for me. It's a trigger word. But yeah, I mean, I think with Flacco too, the biggest thing with him is since he is expected to start on Sunday. Zach Taylor said that today, and we'll talk more about Sunday a little bit later on in the show. But that this guy is going to probably be able to learn the playbook really quickly. I know I saw an interview with Chase Brown earlier today that said that apparently they were in the huddle. Zach Taylor was reading him the plays, and he was immediately able to say everything the play was, even though he doesn't really know the playbook yet. So he was already had that part down, and Chase Brown just said that's impressive, and that just shows the dude's been in the league since Abraham Lincoln was president.
Yeah. 18 years of experience at the quarterback position will do that for you.
Well, they brought up the point today. Somebody said in Zach Taylor's press conference, they said, how does it make you feel that he was drafted the year after you? And he was like, well, that's not great. Frank says Jake was too short, plus not really a great arm. And I think you saw that exposed this year. The arm talent was something we talked about a couple of years ago, but he was able to overcome that because there wasn't as much information on him, and now teams just know that he can't throw deep.
Yeah, they took away what he could do well, and I don't know what happened to Jake Browning other than, teams got some tape on him. It just seemed like Jake Browning was not on time with his throws nearly as much as he was in 2023. He wasn't progressing through reads nearly as much as he was in the 2023 season. And that Lions game is a direct indicator of how far he has kind of fallen off the wagon, or how much he's turned back into a pumpkin. It's just there were two of those interceptions that had easy check down passes to them in the flat. The first interception to Amik Robertson, I'm going to throw that on Zach. There wasn't a single wide receiver open, and we were on our own goal line at that point in time. So that wasn't a great situation for Jake. So I don't want to put too much blame on him for that. But the two subsequent interceptions, the one where he threw it to two Lions defenders at the same time, either one of them could have picked that off, and you had an easy check down pass to Noah Fant there. That was inexcusable from Jake Browning, and that's something that you hope to see be eliminated with Joe Flacco out there on the field.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Let's talk a little bit about this game. I did see really quick too. Mark asked a question that I think is going to be able to tie in, because I think it's a legitimate one to help out Joe Flacco. Is this offensive line going to do anything? And I think that can be where we can start for today, at least when we're talking about the offense, just to tie in Mark's question here. And Mick, the way I'm going to start this off for you is what the hell's happened to Orlando Brown Jr.? Graded a 29.4 pass blocking grade. He is having hands down his worst season in his NFL career. What's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's gone up against some really stiff competition to start out the season. I mean, so you're dealing with Myles Garrett in week 1. In week 2, the Jaguars defensive line is probably yeah, you have Josh Hines Allen, but that's the worst defensive line they've played so far this season.
And that's a good one.
And it's still a good defensive line. You don't have like a dude on the Vikings defensive line or pass rush, like a Myles Garrett or an Aiden Hutchinson who they played last week. But you have the Flores scheme, which is just a nightmare for NFL. Yeah, for NFL offenses to deal with. And they still have some quality pass rushers and Jonathan Grenard and Dallas Turner and other guys like that. So I think that the competition's just been pretty fierce.
And the Broncos. I mean,
Broncos defense has been really good as well. So it's a combination of that.
Mick, it's not like it gets harder this week. Oh yeah. Wait. Oh, wait. We'll talk about that later.
Well, yeah, we don't see it getting much better until
November 2nd.
The Bears, is that the Bears game?
Yes.
Yeah, until the Bears game in a few weeks. So that's something you got to keep in mind there. But also, he's your franchise left tackle. You paid a lot of money for him to play. You would expect him to be at least competent against those guys. And maybe not grading at 29, but at least grading like a 55 or something along those lines, and not giving up nearly as many pressures. He is dealing with a rookie left guard and Dylan Fairchild right next to him. You're dealing with the new offensive line coach and a new approach to the way the line is being run. Now, one thing that we can note with Joe Flacco being under center here is that Joe Flacco does have rapport with Scott Peters, who's now the offensive line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is there going to be a little more synergy with the offensive line, in the offense as a whole, with Joe Flacco being the quarterback of this team going forward? I think that's definitely something that you got to take note of.
I know Lisa says Joe Walter, Bengals legend, pointed out that Orlando Brown is in a higher stance with the new coaching. Now, that could be just the adjustment period of getting used to that. But I think you're right, is the competition has been brutal. But at the same time, we got to figure out something to get past that, because this is, just about as tough of a defensive stretch that the Bengals have gone through in a couple of years, as far as just playing just brutal defense after brutal defense after brutal defense. They're playing literally. Is there a top edge rusher that they're not playing this year?
Nick Bosa, maybe.
When he's hurt. So, yeah, so there you go. One of them, I feel like every single other one they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is tough crap.
Part of it is. The other thing you got to, Zach's got to find a way to make life a little bit easier on Orlando Brown Jr. then. If you got to throw an extra blocker in on the left side, do it. I don't feel like we've seen a whole lot of that so far.
No, you don't. Let's talk positive on the offense. Jamar Chase had a Jamar Chase game, and he had that touchdown catch I think is one of the best catches of his career, and it's going to get forgotten.
Yeah, because it came in garbage time against the Lions, and Jake Browning threw the ball.
But it was an incredible catch for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think I saw the stat, like a 6% completion, prediction successful or whatever it is. It's just like one of those things that just shows you how good that guy is.
Yeah, and I think he had a pretty good bounce back game. He was quiet for a few weeks here since the Jaguars game, but a 77.5 receiving grade, caught 6 of 9 targets, 110 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaged 5.5 yards after the catch. A lot of those came on that touchdown. Later in the game, the bomb from Jake Browning. And if Jake Browning had a somewhat decent arm, maybe there would have been a couple of those. Because it's not like Jake Browning didn't try to, air it out to Jamar Chase. Just, you got to have the arm to do that. And Jake Browning didn't have it. But no, Jamar had a really good game. Andre Yostervash, we gotta throw out.
Shout out to Mark.
Yep. Shout out to Mark. Mark's favorite player here. But yeah, Andre Yoshivach, I think he had his best game as a pro against the Lions here. 71.6 receiving grade. Caught 5 of 7 targets for 82 yards. Good yak numbers as well. Averaged 4.8 yards after the catch. I wonder if he's going to start getting incorporated a little bit more after a really good sighting from him this past Sunday.
Against a solid defense too. You know, we mentioned that the secondary was probably the weakness of that Lions squad. And listen, he did what he was supposed to do in a scenario like that, though. You know, we mentioned Orlando Brown. The rest of the offensive line, you know, you were going up against a good defensive line yet again. Numbers not great, though, Mick.
No. What do you got? What are we?
I didn't know if you were getting ready to. Clearly, we weren't on the same page there. That was kind of my way to.
Sorry, I was reading Alex's comment there. So where are we? Repeat your sentence again, sir.
Okay, let's just like rewind. You know, we're back 30 seconds ago. You know, the offensive line, we talked about Orlando Brown Jr., but Nick, the rest of the numbers, they weren't great either, were they?
No. Okay, so Amarius Mims had a good game. Amarius Mims had a great bounce back game after a really bad showing from the Broncos. He was by far the best graded offensive lineman on the team. Wasn't dealing with Aiden Hutchinson. That helps out quite a bit. So he weren't dealing with nearly as good of edge rushing talent on the other side. But Amarius Mims only gave up 2 pressures on 45 dropbacks, 70.8 pass block grade. If we can get that more weeks than not out of Amarius Mims, I think that there's a lot of cause for optimism there for sure.
Martha asks, I understand we got Flacco. Where did Browning go? No one's really said, and yes, I can Google it.
Martha, he went to the bench.
Yes, he'll be sitting on the bench. He'll be Joe Flacco's backup this week. So he's still there. He was, when they interviewed him today, he said, and I quote, "I'm pissed about it." But, and I think his follow-up line was really good, though, Mick, because he said, and if I wasn't pissed, then I shouldn't be on the field. And I think that's a good line, as if to say, like, if I'd be okay with this, then why am I even doing this to begin with? Because nobody is okay with getting their job taken.
No, and at least it wasn't on his birthday like it was for a different Bengals starting quarterback, 6 years ago.
Shout out to...
He'll be the flack up. He'll be...
At least you laugh.
Oh, the puns are in. The puns are here.
And if I told you...
We didn't
one
have
commenter. What?
I was going to say we didn't have a segment on our friend Alex Schubert and his notoriety that he had. I was going to see if we wanted to bring it up if what he did during the Bengals game was okay, but
is it known that he is said man now, or did you just out him in front of everybody?
Considering that he's tagged in Tony the Tiger's post, I'm assuming that he is
so
out.
So if you've seen the post floating around of the man in the paper bag, that is one Alex Schubert. And Nick,
it was a funny paper bag, by the way. I mean,
yes, that got thrown into the garbage can, and I think a beer was poured on it. But did that phase Mr. Schubert? No, it did not. He took it out with the garbage juice, and he still put it on because he's a man.
He did. It said Mike Brown can kiss my ass on there.
It did.
It's kind of funny. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I feel
and
like
I like that he picked a hot game to wear it too.
He did. As a fan who spends a lot of money on this team, spends a lot of time, and Alex is, he's created a lot of content for this team. And I was gonna say he got featured heavily on the Chatterbox Sports page with the bag.
You're welcome, Martha. Anytime. We're always here to help you.
But yeah, I think you and I are both of the opinion, hopefully, that I think you should be able to just to voice your opinion on the team, no matter if you're in the stadium or not.
I don't think I would wear it, more just because. I mean,
I don't want to get kicked. I'm a coward. I don't want to get kicked out of the stadium.
I can't cover this beautiful face, Mac. That's the main reason why. What can I say?
Yeah.
What? But I will say that they did, and I didn't know they were doing it again. They did take pictures again during big moments. What's interesting, though, is that there were only like 3 moments they took pictures with. this time. And one of which, though, was the T touchdown. And we were, like Lisa says, she don't want to mess up my hair.
You have them pulled up here?
I don't, because our reactions weren't really that great because we were just sad. She just looked at us and like, those looked like two very sad people. That, and they did get me eating my pizza this time. You were late getting up because you went on an adventure. And we can talk about your adventure here in just a moment, but it was, because I don't know how much more we really got to talk about this game. Martha asks, is Gary Faulkner, the beard man, been at the games? I think Gary usually goes to games. I haven't seen him this year, but he's usually wandering around. He's got a great beard. Great beard. I wish I could
with like the long orange beard or whatever.
Yeah. That always paints it. Absolutely. Yeah. Or puts like the beers in it. Yeah, he does that. Do you want to talk about your adventure, Mick, or no?
I don't think there's really much to be said.
Okay. You were so excited to tell me about your adventure when you came up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's something that has to be visually displayed for the fans here. So I've talked to Gormley about this. I don't know if we're going to invest in it or not, but maybe there's going to be one day where I just take a GoPro around and I just wander around the stadium for a little bit. If Jake Browning were still quarterbacking this team and we had little to no hope, that was something I would have been willing to do, willing to figure out. But right now, hope has been somewhat restored here. So we're going to try to get to the seed as quickly as we can nowadays.
Let's hit a couple of things on the defense for the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson, we talked about on last week's show about how if Taylor Decker's out, he should be able to feast against Giovanni Manu, and he did. But only turned it into 2 sacks, didn't have any other pressures other than that, but the grading was really good for Trey.
Yeah, 27.4% pass rush win rate. Definitely looked more like himself again. It looked like he was going to maybe wreck this game completely. I mean, the Lions, kudos to them. They found a way to kind of neutralize them a little more towards the latter half of the game. But yeah, I mean, I think Trey had a pretty darn good game. I think the pass rush as a whole looked
Miles Murphy.
Decent. Miles Murphy with the sack and 6 pass rush snaps. So that was pretty good. Joseph Osai had a really nice sack as well. So I thought I liked what we saw out of the edge rushers for sure.
Now, what is interesting, and I think this is something we talked a lot about during the offseason, is one of the staples of the Al Golden defense, and really one of the main things that differs him from Lou, is that he likes to drop his ends into coverage. Now, part of that is that he likes to have an athletic end in running that kind of quote unquote viper position. And the Bengals don't have that on this team right now at all.
No, they don't. And that was thoroughly exposed at various points during the game.
Yes. And primarily it was exposed where Joseph Osai was guarding Amon-Ra St. Brown twice and Sam Laporta once. Now, Mick, I might not be a football expert. I never will claim to be that on the show, but this might be too hot of a take for this show, but I'm still going to give it. Amon-Ra St. Brown against Joseph Osai, probably not a good matchup for the Bengals. I know that's a hot take. Probably not a good matchup.
I mean, I don't even think Shamar Stewart against, and he's probably our most athletic guy on that defensive line or at that edge rusher position would be a good matchup against Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I mean, it's really not a good matchup for Dax Hill, who's maybe the best corner on the team against Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's one of the best corners in the league or one of the best receivers in the league. So I think that's part of it as well. Martha asks, is Shamar injured all year? No, he is hopefully back this week. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes as well, Martha. Anything else defensively, or do you want to jump into this Packers game?
The DJ Turner, I guess we'll go optimistic real quick. DJ Turner had a really good game. Don't have the grading numbers, but he didn't allow a single catch and was only targeted once during that game. Amon-Ra's primarily working in the slot, but you do have Jamison Williams on the outside, who really was a non-factor during that game. You're welcome for the betting advice, by the way, on Jamison Williams receiving yards.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
But the middle of the field in coverage played pretty poorly. Logan Wilson, again, not a great game in coverage. Dax Hill had his worst game with a 41.4. Geno Stone, 48.7. Jordan Battle, 53.2. And Amon-Ra absolutely feasted in the middle of the field pretty much the entire game, caught 7 to 9 targets, 93 yards in between the numbers. That's just, that's something that has to get cleaned up because I feel like it's been a continuing trend, at least from the last 3 weeks.
It's a problem. It's a problem. Okay, I've had enough depression about this game, so let's talk about things that are positive. Yay, you're playing the Packers. Oh. Okay. Anything else you did want to talk about the Lions, or are we good to talk about the Packers?
No, let's talk about the Packers.
Okay. Let's set this game up. Another 425 window, this time on CBS. Kevin Harlan and Trent Green will be on the call. Kevin Harlan gets to stay home. He's a proud Wisconsin native. I love Kevin Harlan, too.
Fun fact, Trent Green probably played in the NFL around the same time that Joe Flacco. There's got to be some overlap there.
There probably is. Brad Allen is the ref. Got your favorite Brad Allen moment, Mick?
No.
Well, he is kind of an infamous ref. He was the ref in the Cowboys-Lions game a couple of years ago.
The Dan Skipper ref. Oh,
correct.
No.
And he got suspended for the playoffs with that. Bengals are 4-5 in Brad Allen games. The Packers are like 9-4. A couple of notable games, though, that he's been the head ref for. The Burrow Bowl in 2019 against the Dolphins, which it just is so wild to think.
Is that that was the wild Dolphins game?
Yes, right? 38-35 in overtime. Just think if the Dolphins would have won that game. I guess the Bengals would have Justin Herbert probably at quarterback, which, that would have been okay. But I'd love to know kind of what happens. Would the Bengals have then had Penei Sewell? Just interesting discussion. Maybe that's a summer show to have. The Jaguars in 2021, the Cowboys in 2022, Steelers in 2022, and then the Commanders and Chargers last year. So those are a couple of the games that Brad Allen has been the ref for. Injury report for the Bengals. Dylan Fairchild and Drew Sample both did not practice today. Charlie Jones, Shamar Stewart, and guess who? Lucas Patrick was activated to return from IR today. All three of those players were limited. Zach Taylor was asked today about Lucas Patrick, and he said, maybe for Sunday's game in Green Bay. For the Packers, they're coming off a bye. Anthony Belton and Devontae Wyatt did not practice, and they had literally their entire team was limited. They had 12 players limited in practice today, so I didn't even write them down because it was an extensive list of a ton of limited players on there. Some offensive line guys on there, and so on. So there is something there. Let's go into this matchup a little bit more. The Bengals offense against this Broncos, against this Packers defense. For one, like Lisa said, Joe Flacco 1-0 against the Packers this year. Not that he really did anything to help in that game. That was more the Browns defense. But still, he would be the first quarterback in NFL history to beat a team twice in the same season, starting for two different teams. The Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, Martha, was who Flacco won a Super Bowl with. He would have a chance, though, to do it here, too. Wow.
That's some bulletin board material right there, if I've ever heard it.
Now, you have this Packers defense. There's this guy, Mick. You probably haven't heard of him. Micah Parsons. Have you heard of him?
Who is he? What does he do?
He's okay. Only the best defensive player in the league, not named Myles Garrett. Agreed?
Honestly, he might be. Yeah, I think it's a 1A and a 1B with Micah Parsons right now. And the way that they've deployed Micah Parsons has been kind of crazy. They're not playing a lot of snaps with Micah Parsons. They're keeping him pretty fresh out on the field, and I think it's been all for the better. Micah Parsons right now is a 93.4 pass rush grade for the season. That leads all pass rushers in the NFL. He ranks third in pass rush win rate with a 29.4%. And I think that
and just to put that in 29% is absurd.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very good number. It's third best in the NFL. And I think one other thing of note, I think that Micah Parsons' presence has made other pass rushers on this unit better. I think Devontae Wyatt, we're not sure if he's going to play or not in this game, but he's had his best season as a pro. He ranks 10th amongst interior defensive line and pass rush grade with the 79.2, ranks 8th in pass rush win rate with the 17.2%. And then another guy who's having his best season as a pro so far, Lucas Van Ness, the first rounder from a couple of years ago out of Iowa, has a 69 even pass rush grade that ranks 40th in the league. So that's nice. Around top half in the league. Yep, nice. With the 17% pass rush win rate, that's 26th in the league amongst edge rushers. So, that's top third to the top quarter of the league in both of those statistical categories. So the offensive line is going to have its hands full once again with these guys.
Last year, the Bengals did play Micah Parsons when he was a member of the Cowboys. So I went, Mick, I said, okay, let's look at the stats from that game. In that game against the Bengals, he had, do you remember how many pressures he had? He had, and this is correct, 10.
10 pressures.
3 hits, 7 quarterback hurries. 10 pressures, that's a lot. If you are into the analytics of the stats, Mick, what would you say is a good game? 5 pressures? 6 pressures, right? For an average.
That's a really good game in 6 pressures.
Yes.
Like that's, yeah.
10 is like, to call it a great game. Now, no sacks. Didn't have any sacks, but I think, and we both are in agreement there, sacks can be a misleading stat. It can be a misleading stat because sometimes a pressure can do just as good as a sack does. You're hitting a quarterback when he's thrown. you think back to the game against the Jaguars, arguably one of the biggest plays in the game. Trey Hendrickson didn't get a sack, but he made contact with Trevor Lawrence, calls him to underthrow the ball. It's picked off in the end zone by Dax Hill or Jordan Battle. I don't remember which one it was early on in that game. And then bang, that was the difference in the contest.
Yeah. And even if you don't get sacks, that also frees up other pass rushers to potentially get sacks because you're completely just wrecking your own side of the field, and that just opens up holes everywhere else.
Unless you're the Bengals.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're the Bengals. Because Trey Hendrickson is the only one. Well, I guess Miles Murphy's at least done some things this year. But yeah, so the Bengals are going to have their hands full. Coverage-wise, this team, the corners, like the thing to me that stands out about these corners, and you might disagree with me, is it's like they don't have a dude, but they're just super solid corners.
Yeah, they are good NFL corners in the league. They've all graded really well, and their best guy, in years past at least, hasn't even been their best guy on the field this season. And Xavier McKinney, he's kind of had a down year, and you've seen other players really step up in that void there. Keyshawn Nixon has been a pretty good nickel corner for the Packers so far this season. You have guys like Carrington Valentine, who's been who's played pretty solid. Evan Williams.
Hey. Carrington Valentine. Go Cats.
Oh, he went to the Cats.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to just get on the state.
Carrington, I think, is a Cincinnati guy too. Winton Woods, maybe?
Is he really?
I think so.
Huh.
It wouldn't be the first time I've made something up on this podcast. Moeller. Ooh, I'm going to get trouble. Yeah, he went to Moeller. He's a Moeller man.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They lost to Elder apparently this past week.
Yeah, somebody told me about that 14 times more times than I actually heard.
Oh, I guess it's probably the Elder grad of our friend group. And then just to be on the same,
graduated. Interesting.
Just to be on the in the same shit. I lost my track of words, man. Just to get on the same topic of coverage, you also have one of the better coverage linebackers in the NFL, in Edgerrin Cooper, who's the second-year linebacker out of Texas A&M. Ranks 12th amongst linebackers in coverage grade with a 71.5. So that's just something else to note as well. He's played pretty solid this year. So, this Packers defense all around is solid. It's not going to be an easy test for Joe Flacco. And I know that a lot of people are coming out and they're like, oh, well, Joe Flacco beat the Packers once again, already this season. Shit. Yeah, maybe I do need a Zen. has beaten the Packers once already this season. Like he should be able to do it again against the Bengals. Are we all going to forget the fact that one, you had to have one miraculous special teams play happen in that game for the Browns, and two, it wasn't Joe Flacco that came out and won that game against the Packers. Myles Garrett and company had, one of the best defensive games of the season so far against them.
Do you think maybe, they talked about the car that went and picked up Joe Flacco and drove him back. Do you think maybe the driver of the car, just wrapped up Myles Garrett and threw him in the back seat and said, "You're coming with us"? You think maybe that happened?
That would have been nice.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh,
I would have taken Mason Graham too, just to have a little more interior pass rush. But
yeah, see, we have to drive Myles Garrett. He's not allowed to drive himself. Drives a little too quick. Although he would have gotten back quicker probably than that. It is weird, Lisa, that Mick gets more optimistic the worse it gets.
I just love it when everybody's down to my level. It's fun.
It feels better for this. Okay, Alex brought up Jordan Love, so I think let's switch gears and talk about this Packers offense. What is your take on Jordan Love?
I think Jordan Love's had a pretty darn good season so far this year. He's the 5th best graded quarterback in the league so far. 4th in big time throw rate with 6.9%. Turnover where they play rate 2.7%. Which is middle of the pack, but I think he's played pretty well. He's not the reason why the Packers tied against the Cowboys a couple weeks ago in that really fun Sunday night game that we watched. I think the offense has been firing pretty much from all cylinders other than that Browns game, and that's to be expected with how good that Browns defense is.
Hooday, Freddie, thanks for watching, or at least saying you're going to go back to watch. We always appreciate that. Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft are the guys that I'm kind of circling on this offense as players that worry me. For one, you saw what Sam Laporta did last week. If you are looking for a bet, not that we give out gambling advice in this show, Mick. I'm not taking it from you anymore. Tucker Kraft is somebody that I would absolutely jump on this week.
Yeah. I have him starting, and I think all 3 of my fantasy leagues that aren't my dynasty leagues. So yeah, Bengals defense against tight ends has not been great. TJ Hawkinson went off on us a couple weeks ago. Sam Laporta had a really good game last week. If the Broncos had a tight end that wasn't a glorified wide receiver, they probably would have had somebody, go off against us as well. So that middle of the field, Logan Wilson, Demetrius Knight, Jordan Battle, Geno Stone, they have to find a way to get better in coverage and dealing with these tight ends.
The receivers. The Packers have interesting receivers. You got Wicks, Dobbs, and Golden. Matthew Golden is fast as lightning. They just intrigue me.
Yeah, I think that we talked about how the cornerback room is just, there's no dude in the cornerback room. It's just a bunch of solid guys. There's no dude in the wide receiver room either. It's just a bunch of solid receivers. Matt LaFleur does a good job of scheming them open. You've seen them make some decent plays here and there, but you've never seen any of them just absolutely wreck a game. So this is a matchup where I do kind of like the corners, or at least the outside corners, in CTB and DJ Turner against these guys.
Now, if you're wanting something that might make you feel, I don't know if quite optimistic is the right word, the Packers' offensive line is not great.
It's not good. It's pretty bad, actually. It's not as bad as the Bengals' offensive line has been, but it's still.
It's one of the worst offensive lines they've faced this year.
Yeah.
And that's something that the Bengals are going to have to, especially if Shamar Stewart plays. You got to get hits on Jordan Love.
You do. You got to find a way to disrupt the rhythm in the pass game. And I think that's probably one of their biggest keys to victory this week. If they are going to have a path to victory this week, that is where you're going to make it. You have to make it work. You saw some glimpses of hope against the Lions this past week as one of the better graded pass rush games team wide that I've seen in a while now. Can they build off of that momentum going into this week against a rather weak Packers offensive line? I think that's something that's going to be interesting to see.
The positive is that you're going to face some rougher offensive lines of these next couple of weeks. So if you can find a way to exploit some of those, that's going to help you win games. You've got to find a way to do it. I asked you this question last week, Mick, and I'm going to ask you again. Before we make an actual pick on this, is there a moral victory for you this week?
Yeah, I think there is. If we can see that the offense really comes together and actually, moves the ball down the field, and they're actually in this game for the majority of the game. I can't count last week, even though it was a 2-score game, because they were down 28-3. It was essentially garbage time. Hell, Dan Campbell, a guy who never punts the ball, had a 4th and 6 or 7 on the Bengals side of the 50-yard line, and he just decided to punt the ball. That's how much faith that he had, or lack of faith that I guess that he had in the Bengals offense to do anything against them. So if I could see this offense be on schedule, keep themselves in the game the whole time, I don't, expect them to win per se. But yeah, I think there is a moral victory to be had, especially against one of the best teams in the NFL right now.
Can you imagine what Bengals fandom will be like next week what if Joe Flacco goes out there and passes for like 300 and Bengals win like 34-31? Can you imagine what Bengals fandom will be like next week?
Optimistic. We're all going to be a bunch of Lisa Morans out here.
Oh, man. That will be a fun Thursday night crowd next week. It will be a fun Thursday night crowd because the best part is the offense gets introduced. And I just am thinking and laughing here that, when Joe Burrow was announced, be like, hey, the next time they announce the starting quarterback for the Bengals, it is going to be your quarterback from Delaware, Joe Flacco. Unbelievable is all I have to say. Riley asks, do we know if pitcher will be getting play calling duties or Zach is sticking to it? Zach's the main play caller.
Zach is sticking to it still.
Yeah, but they always do a combination thing too. So I don't really know how much different it would be if Dan Pitcher was calling plays. Yeah, he'll be the official oldest starting quarterback too in Bengals history. So over 40 years old. I mean, he's almost 41. He'll be 41 in January. So if Joe Burrow doesn't come back when Joe Flacco is starting in the AFC Championship game for the Cincinnati Bengals, he will be a 41-year-old quarterback in the AFC Championship.
We can't even say he was the oldest starting quarterback in the AFC Championship because Tom Brady Brady existed.
Yes, he does. Okay, let's make our pick, Mick. I'll let you go first. 2 wins.
Packers. I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna be not exactly similar to the Lions game. I think we're gonna hang in there tough for most of it, but I still think that the Packers just have too much juice in their roster for this to be anything less than a 2-score game. I'm going 34-23 Packers. Bengals fall to 2-4.
Okay, I'm in agreement as far as the spread of 11. I'm going 27-16. 27-16. Maybe a missed extra point. Maybe McPherson just hits a couple of field goals. Riley says if Flacco leads us to the promised land, Mick has to get a Flacco is my daddy tramp stamp.
I mean, I'll do it. I don't think that if we ever get to the promised land, I'm assuming Joe Burrow is the starting quarterback of this team because he should be good right around wild card weekend.
What about if Joe Flacco does not lose a game as a starter for the Bengals and they roll all the way until Joe Burrow is healthy? You get that.
We'll think about that one.
You
can't hold me to it yet.
Your wife will be fine with it.
You don't have a wife. Why don't you get it?
Because this body is a temple, Mick. Can't put the ink on it. I think Riley should have to do it. Oh, Martha says you're going to do it, Mick. Martha heard it. I just want to hear your. I wish your wife listened or watched this show so we could see her pop her head out into the doorway behind you and just throw something at you and just be like, no, that is not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Okay. I said 27-16. You said 34-23.
Yep.
Oh, Lisa says Markle to get one with you.
Okay. If Mark does it with me, I'll do it.
Flacco is my daddy tramp stamp. I hope you have to. Okay. Okay. Appreciate you for joining us here this week. We'll be back next week every Wednesday at 8 Eastern to talk about this. And hopefully it's a more positive show, because next week, you got to think, Mick, we're going to be breaking down. We'll be 24 hours out from Bengals Steelers on Thursday Night Football, White Out the Jungle.
We will. And it's going to be a rejoiceful day nonetheless for me as a CPA. 10:15 will be that day. So there'll be a large weight lifted off my shoulders that day regardless. And,
there we go. So if you see Mick on Thursday, if you see him inside the stadium, you might need to help him find his seat, because he might be stammering around a little bit. Because I think you'll probably have at least 2 apple juices. Probably at least 2. If not 12. Depending on how it goes. But we'll see you next week for the show. Do you have any parting thoughts?
Yeah, if you're traveling to Green Bay, safe
Enjoy
travels. Yeah, also enjoy it. That was a game me and Sam wanted to go to, but unfortunately, this was the worst possible week that they could have gone to Green Bay. So we'll have to wait until 2033.
It was the best possible week that it could have happened.
Well, you could have gone by yourself, buddy.
Me and Luke could have gone.
So we'll have to wait until 2033.
Nah, not maybe late, maybe sooner. Because you've got the NFC North,
yeah, but the NFC North always plays here in those
it rotates. It rotates through then on whether it's home or away. I just don't think they've gotten to the they just haven't gotten to
the last year of the 17 game
No, it's still, because next year, I was looking at this the other day, because I was thinking, if you are a Bengals fan that likes traveling to road games, next year is going to be one of the best road team schedules. So at the AFC and NFC East, so you got Colts, Falcons, Panthers, and then the AFC North team. All of those are travelable trips in a car. Let's see here. Okay, they've not chosen in 2027 the divisional stuff. Oh, wait, no. In 2027, it is home NFC North.
It hasn't flip-flopped, because the first year of it was 2021, and the Niners played here, and the Cardinals play here this year.
Yeah, well, maybe they will try. I think they should. They need to do that. Maybe they'll switch it up. I mean, we're going to go to an 18-game schedule at some point anyways, so it's not like it's really going to matter. Right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen at some point. But yeah, so you got some good road trips coming up here these next couple of years that you'll be able to look forward to if that so pleases you. And I mean, and it's funny, the year after that, Mick, it is Seahawks, Rams, Raiders, Broncos, and at an AFC East team. So you got a lot of long trips in 2027. All righty, that'll wrap us up next week. Remember, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating as well. And Mick, we'll see you next week. Who day?
Who day? Thanks for watching.